Take my hand, come with me, and we'll find better ways to be something much more than we'll see. And we'll live, and we'll grow, taking steps into the unknown. There we will find the essence of life.
We're here at a very special field trip, I'd say, at the home of Richard Barron Cohen. And it's an exquisite look at the most unbelievable porcelain collection. He's a collector of all types of things. Richard, thank you for having us here.
Thank you very much.
Collector, you're like the top collector possibly in the world of many fine things. Where did that begin?
Well, I collected things as a child. I've been a collector my entire life. Of course, when I was a new father and my children were younger, everything was pretty much on hold. But as my children got older and they're in their 20s now, life changed quite a bit, and I was able to do many more things than I was able to do earlier in life.
You use the word sometimes in our chat in the green room about clarity.
Ah, okay.
And you're a collector of clarity.
Mine is a search for clarity. Life is very unclear. There are lots of problems. I am not a fan of modern art. I don't want art to evoke in me the desire. I don't want to have to think about it. I want the instant gratification of looking at the object, recognizing what I'm seeing, and seeing the quality in which it was painted. And my collection is known as the Twinite Collection, and it is composed of portrait miniatures from the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries, as well as porcelain from the period 1780 to 1790 to around 1840, with a few exceptions on either side. Also, I have taken it another step further, and I metamorphosed from a collector to a patron, and I commissioned from Royal Copenhagen in 2003 something called the Royal Copenhagen Hippopotamus Service.
Because of your love for hippopotamus.
Because I love hippos. The hippopotamus service, everyone said it was insane, but it was painted by a very fine painter. It is now completed. It's comprised of 144 unique pieces based on the Floridanica blank forms, whether they be tureens, pierced plates, or custard cups. I sent a young lady around the world between 2004 and 2005. She went to 101 zoos in 33 countries, taking over 3,100 photos of hippos, carefully notating the names down. I then culled out 303 images, sent them to Royal Copenhagen, and they were painted on these various pieces. And on the reverse, in black script, is the name of the animal, the zoo, and the city. It's very whimsical, but what was really extraordinary about that is that no one had actually gone to Royal Copenhagen or any manufactory with a request anywhere near like that in 100 years. What also made it unusual is that for Royal Copenhagen, they never painted anything that was not indigenous to Denmark. So there are no hippos in Denmark, so that was a first. I needed to get the approval.
Maybe one of them will want to move, you never know.
I got the approval of the Danish Queen. She saw the first few pieces and loved it, and then it was full speed ahead. took 4 years to produce and was only finished about a year and a half ago.
I don't find that, as you were saying, that no one really supported you in your dream or your vision. You know, sometimes that happens, but the fact that you pushed through is extraordinary. And you should be commended because the plates are beautiful.
Well, they are very beautiful. I was very fortunate to get a great painter, and the Hippo service went along with the exhibition of my porcelain, opened in Berlin in 2007. Then the collection went to the Liechtenstein Palais in Vienna at the end of 2007. Then it went to the Musée de Céramique in Paris in 2008. And then it is currently at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York now until the middle of August. So I urge everyone to go and see it. My collection is called the Twinite Collection.
What advice would you give to someone that just wanted to collect something? Would you say to go with their passion? Like, how does one start a collection?
Well, you have to want to collect something. There are certain people that do not understand collectors at all. You're either a collector or you're not. There's no middle ground. And my suggestion is, if you're going to collect something, make certain that you know what you're doing. Learn everything you can about it first. I was very fortunate. I made very few mistakes. I commenced my collection on July 3rd of 1994. I walked into an antique shop in Camden Passage on Islington in London. Met a lovely lady and her husband. I bought some pieces from them, and at that point I was hooked. I started reading everything that I could. Before I knew it, here I am with an exhibition at the Metropolitan. And when I was there yesterday, and my banner was on the outside of the museum, and that truly was my vindication. I had very little support from my family. They just didn't understand why anybody wanted to do such a thing. People do love it, and I'm very pleased.
And the world is a better place because of the beauty that you've brought to it and the beauty that you share. And you said that we could take a little tour.
Yes, absolutely.
So we'll be taking a look. We'll be walking through Richard's home along with his son Adam, and we'll be having a fabulous time.
This is from KPM Berlin. So this is the porcelain room. Here's a lot of different English factories over here. We've got examples of Flight Bar and Bar, Derby, different shaped vases, different shaped plates. The Seb service, and these plates were on display when we were on exhibition at the National Ceramic Museum. The faux cameo and the allusion to the neoclassical and to the golden age of Greece. For example, this 5-piece garniture was his 40th birthday present to himself. And these 2 urns were royal gifts they were given as marriage gifts.
You have a Napoleon that's, again, a unique piece.
Donna's interview gallery moves this week to the studio and gallery of beloved American artist Peter Max.
We're here with Peter Max in his wonderful studio near Columbus Circle, right? Welcome to the show, Peter.
Thank you, thank you.
Fabulous work everywhere. And this piece right behind us, the Statue of Liberty, can you tell us the story behind that?
Well, that particular piece I painted at the White House lawn. I was asked to do this by Nancy Reagan, and I painted 6 liberties. That was 1981, as you can see by the signature. And I painted 6 liberties, because every year since 1976, I painted 1 additional one. I started in the bicentennial, I did 1. Then in 77, 2, and so forth. In 81, I was at 6. And that got me so interested that somebody showed me and told me that the Statue of Liberty is falling apart, and I spearheaded the whole renovation program. I don't know if you know the story.
I don't know the story with the new copper and the new scaffolding
well,
and fixing her up.
I called Nancy Reagan, I called Ronald Reagan, I spoke to maybe 10 different people, and then somebody told me maybe the best is to find the private sector, and I was nervous. I said, what does that mean? They go, you know, corporation, and I saw a TV show about Lee Iacocca. I called him up. He came to my house, and 6 years later he had raised $200 and some million, and the Statue of Liberty was renovated. So I'm really proud of it, that I was able to spearhead the whole thing with Lee. And the American flag, that was done maybe 6 months later. I was invited to do a flag for Ronald Reagan, and I painted this flag, and when I was finished with it, as you can see, right near this, on the bottom of the stars, there was I painted a little heart.
Yes, I see.
And Ronald, when it was presented to Ronald Reagan, he said to me, "A heart?" I said, "Yes, Mr. President, for country with a heart." And he loved it, for a country with a heart.
It's a beautiful story.
How that happened.
And you came to the United States later in your life, right?
I came here when I was 16. I traveled all over the world. I lived in China most of my life. And my parents, you know, my father owned a department store. And but I became a big fan of American culture when I was about 4 or 5 years old. Had every comic book, listened to every jazz program.
Were you a baseball fan back then?
No,
not at all.
baseball.
Not that part of America, but just the
music,
Americana.
Music and iconography, you know, sort of.
And so you love liberty and you love flags.
Well, that's just a small part of it.
Yes, exactly. Your work is vast.
Yeah, I love astronomy. I love, and that was my first subject when I started drawing and painting. And as you will see in the gallery, my early work was the stuff I did for Woodstock, and you know, all that cosmic stuff that happened in sort of in the mid-late 60s. And the gallery will have, you know, a complete range of everything. You know, when Barack Obama was nominated, I was beyond belief excited. And having painted 8 presidents already, 7 presidents, and I've gotten to know all of them, I decided to do this series. I did 44 Obamas, of course, for the 44th president. And you could see those on petermax.com, and you will see them at the gallery this weekend. And I hope to meet him in the next 2-3 weeks.
I'm sure you will. How exciting will that be?
Yeah, it's
right?
very, very exciting. And by the way, this is a piano that Ringo Starr signed for me. I painted one for Ringo, and then Baldwin sent us another piano. So I painted it almost in the same colors that Ringo was painted. And then Ringo comes up here one day and thanks me for the piano I sent him. And and we're standing here, he goes, "Wow, I don't know if I like yours better than mine." And the next question he asked me, "Do you have any brushes and paint?" I said, "Do I have brushes and paint? Let's go inside." And he just signed it, as you can see, "To Peter, with love, Ringo Starr."
Very nice. So you've met presidents, you've met
I've been very
all types
fortunate.
of different celebrities.
Yeah.
When you were young, who inspired you? Who was an art teacher that kind of helped you along your way?
I had an art teacher by the name of Frank Riley, this great Irish guy. I studied with him for about 7.5, 8 years. And when he was a student in the same room where he was now a teacher, 40 years earlier, there was a young man that sat next to him that studied art with him. His name was Norman Rockwell.
My goodness.
Some people know
goodness.
who Norman Rockwell was. An amazing, amazing painter. And I loved Norman Rockwell when I was a kid. And then to be with a teacher who studied with him was unbelievable. But then I broke away from realism, you know, and I started doing things like this.
And what's the title of this piece, Peter? It says Daydream number 31.
Yeah, Daydream. I love doing beautiful profiles of ladies and colors and vases and flowers. And so, you know, I draw all the time. I draw probably 2 hours, 3 hours a day. I paint probably 3 to 4 hours a day. And I think about art the rest of the time. And every day is new, and every day I create new stuff. It inspires me. And I don't feel tired at the end of the day. I just feel very satisfied.
Because you're standing in your passion.
I love it, yeah. I'm loving my passion. I love doing it. And I'm grateful that I'm able to be an artist you know, and have shows like coming up, the one I'm having in Pittsburgh.
Well, we appreciate the time that you spent here with us today, Peter Max.
Thank you,
was
thank you.
an amazing, amazing gift that you gave us and the viewers. So
Thank
if you
you.
want to learn more about Peter Max, you can go to liveituptvshow.com or check out Peter's website at petermax.com.
It's time to smile with Dr. Jackie Fulop-Goodling's Tooth Tip on Live It Up.
When I first heard, do you have halitosis, I thought it was as good as, is your epidermis showing? Well, yes, my epidermis or skin is showing, and no, halitosis is not having the cooties. It's just another word meaning bad breath. Halitosis is something none of us want and may even cause you to be self-conscious. Fortunately, there are ways of testing it and remedies for it too. Bad breath is caused by anaerobic bacteria that accumulates on your tongue and also between your teeth. If you're not cleaning these areas properly, then food particles stay in your mouth, attracting bacteria, causing bad breath. They are also coined a term known as VSC, volatile sulfur compounds. Picture it simply as rotting food. I know it's gross. Simple brushing of not only your teeth, but your tongue and flossing can help you have cleaner smelling breath and for a longer period of time. Also, when you're brushing your tongue, don't forget to not only brush the top of it, but do the underside or the backside of it too. How do you know if you have bad breath or halitosis? Well, a telltale sign is watching someone you're talking to take 2 steps back when they're talking to you closely, and then offer you a piece of gum. Well, there are better ways of telling if your breath isn't so fresh, but you'll have to join us at our next Treasured Tooth Tips segment as we help you create your beautiful smile as you live it up.
Donna welcomes Dave Girgenti to the Live It Up Inspiring Interview Gallery. He's a marketing executive who decided to launch a Pay It Forward internet site with the purpose of helping others grant the wishes of others.
We're here with Dave Girgenti from Wish Upon a Hero, and he's the founder and affectionately known as the Wishmaster, correct?
That is correct.
The Wishmaster. What is Wish Upon a Hero?
Wish Upon a Hero is a website where people can post up wishes and anyone can grant those wishes.
Now, what type of wishes do you generally see coming through?
Oh, we see, it's a ring. It's a wish is anything you want it to be. So we see the small stuff from prayers and cards and baby items to large things where people want to meet people, dentists and doctors who give out services, send people on vacations. We do everything.
And what caused you to have this come about? Like, what was it that you decided to say, hey, wait, I'm going to do this?
You know, I was originally inspired during September 11th. I was inspired by all the heroic acts and people. And the one thing that stuck with me that day was the missing people. They were posting all the photos around the city. And I remember thinking, there's got to be a better, more organized way of helping, because I wanted to help out in some way, but I didn't know what to do. So that kind of inspired me to start thinking about it. And then after Hurricane Katrina is when I realized there was an overwhelming need for things like fresh water, food, clothing, and shelter. And I said, well, if people knew who to help and how to help them, they probably would. Why not? You know, so that's how, and I said, I'm building this site.
And what's one of the biggest wishes you've been able to grant so far?
The biggest wish was when we sent a World War II veteran back to Pearl Harbor for his 90th birthday. His daughter posted up the wish and didn't know how to get him there. And it's a great wish because not only was it a big wish because it took a lot of financials to get him over there, but that was people around the country coming together and helping to get this guy there. It was just like a community effort to get him over there. So that was a really big wish, and that made me really happy when that got granted.
And what do you do during the day? Like you have, this is like your passion, right, and your glory, but you have a day job, correct?
Yeah, I have a day job. This is spilling over into it a little bit right now. But yeah, I'm a creative director at an ad agency. You know,
Okay.
So, and I'm a designer by at heart, you know, by nature.
So you designed the site,
Yep.
and did you think it was going to be as successful as it is now?
You know, I knew it physically would work. I had no idea that it would like be such an emotional connection for people to be on and help people. And I didn't think it would get so explosive where the media would want to be all a part of it and companies would want to do stuff with us. So yeah, it's quite surprising.
You were named Person of the Week by who?
ABC World News, Charles Gibson,
Right.
they had us on as Person of the Week earlier this year. Yeah, it was exciting.
And how'd you get that call? How did that happen?
You know, the guy I work with is in PR, and he received the call, and he told me we start celebrating like we won the Super Bowl. Yeah, we're like, oh my God, Person of the Week, that's a huge title. You know,
It's all from being a wishmaster,
all
right?
yeah, all from granting wishes.
Yeah, and you've had some people that have granted numerous wishes, like in the hundreds.
Yeah,
Tell us about a couple of those stories.
Yeah, there's people out there, and you know, here's the great thing about them. They grant 500-600 wishes, but they're like superheroes. They don't want to be known. They don't let their name out there. They go on as a screen name on the site, and they go and grant these wishes, and they disappear like a superhero. They don't hang around and become friends. They come in, they help, and they get out.
Very cool. Just swoop in,
Yeah,
swoop out.
it's like being a real superhero.
Yeah. Well, you know how we ended up meeting is I was actually researching, looking for a breast cancer organization for a friend of mine in New Jersey, and I stumbled upon your list, and it said that you wanted to be on a talk show, and I said, hey, I could grant your wish.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and you're granting mine by being here. So, what's in the future for you? What are you looking to do?
You know what? Right now, the possibilities are endless, and you know, we want to grant a lot more wishes, obviously, but we want to get corporations involved and get them their philanthropic side and help us out financially. I think because it's growing pretty big, and there's a huge benefit for them there. So I think getting companies to start granting wishes too, I think you're going to see really amazing things happen.
And synergistic relationships like the one that we've built today.
Sure.
So I'm so grateful to have you here, and you can look for more on liveituptvshow.com from Dave Giurgenti. And I want to give a little shout out to Damien, because your buddy Damien Woods was the one that put us together. So thanks again. We are here at Lincoln Center, and tonight we're going to be interviewing David. He's a wonderful artist. He has created something that has never been done before, and it's here as part of the Lincoln Center Festival. The name of his project is Portraits in Dramatic Time. So let's take a look and find out more. So tell us a little bit about how you created this masterpiece.
The subject matter is great actors acting, and so what we've done is kind of stage little short 10 or 12-second scenes, and then those scenes play out over the course of about, I don't know, 6 to 8 minutes. On most occasions, the actors and I met, and we kind of collaborated a scene.
So it was generated from within
as
it was happening?
Well, even just through conversation. You know, Alan Rickman, for example, came over to my home just after he had finished performing John Gabriel Borkman at BAM. And so I kind of brushed up on my Ibsen. I thought I was going to talk with him about that. And when he sat down at my kitchen table, he said, no, I absolutely don't want to do that. I want to do something new. And I had just served him Earl Grey tea, and he said, well, let's just begin with tea. And so then we built a character. Who was he? In what context was he existing? What kind of emotional state? Was there someone in the room, or was he alone, etc.? So most of the scenes evolved in that kind of very natural, organic way.
Well, David is someone whose work I've admired for quite a few years. I mean, he did Slow Dancing in 2007, which was a great success. It was really mesmerizing. People sat out on the Josie Robertson Plaza just watching these dancers move, and it was really quite extraordinary. So when David proposed to do another piece on actors, I said, sure, we'll do it. I think he has changed the lives of many artists with whom he's worked. I think the way of seeing themselves in this extraordinary format. I was talking to one artist earlier, Chen Yi, whose portrait was just up on the screen, and she said that it was an extraordinary experience seeing herself that large, also slowing herself, knowing that she would be slowed down, so speeding up for the take to be slowed down on the screen. And I think that what David has done is change the way these artists who participate, think about their work or perceive themselves.
Now you did a scene, a country type of scene in this project?
Well, it's a mixture of a lot of different things. It was actually based on a play that I wrote years ago and was produced down at here Performing Arts Center. And Juliana wanted to do an homage to Josephine Baker and Marilyn Monroe and those musical moments in dramatic movies like To Have and Have Not and The Misfits. So we found a song that Sophie Tucker made famous called Some of These Days. And it's the theme song in an existential classic, Nausea. And so it was a wonderful kind of celebration. I think we ended up calling it The Wedding Party. And if you watch the film, I have a big black eye, and you don't really know what's going on until the very end of the film. And then Margareta makes her debut, her big screen debut.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is this the first time that you've worked together as a family?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
actually.
I mean, we've done some readings together, but we've never worked for the same directors, but not at the same time. So it was our first family outing. Yes.
I want to work with you again.
Yes, I'm pleased. Yes, we like that.
And you too.
You too.
Yeah.
And can you tell me one memorable moment about the experience that you guys shared?
When Margareta fell off the little stage.
Oh, yes, and the entire room went,
and we all stopped breathing for a moment, but then she got right up and started dancing again, so she was fine.
And tell me a little bit about your particular film that you worked on.
I was in a scene with Liev Schreiber. He's a great actor. He was the lead in the scene. We were basically there to support Liev. His scene, he played a financial person in the finance industry during the financial collapse, and he was supposed to exude the anger and anguish that people felt in those moments when the market went down and the real estate market collapsed. Really, really amazing stuff. I think everyone should come out to see it. It's right out here in the public. You don't have to buy a ticket to see it. It's free. I would encourage everyone to come out and see it. It's amazing.
I wanted to create a portraiture that was sort of simultaneously still photography, or I should say that was somehow in dialogue with the history of portraiture, whether it was painted or photographed.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this look, a behind-the-scenes portrait, if you will, at a Lincoln Center Festival event. Dave, it was phenomenal. All the people were lovely. And this idea actually came to us from a fan of Live It Up. So if you have an idea for a show, you can contact us at liveituptvshow.com.
Thanks for watching Live It Up with Donna Drake, and be well and happy journeys. Visit us on the web at liveituptvshow.com for more tips on attaining the life of your dreams. This program has been brought to you by Drake Media Network, Incorporated.